Hi guys, I just wanted to make a quick video because I finally decided to take apart one of my little baby girls called Isolde, and this is her, and you're seeing her in bits because I already did it before. I thought, hey, how about I do a little bit of an update video, because so far Faith has been featuring because she's my new baby. And I just wanted to show you her because there's actually a few things. You're seeing a bright pink and silver stripy sock. Isolde is my baby that an artist made for me because she damaged my limited edition Sheila Michaels doll. And so she, out of guilt, made me a cheap doll for $100, and I probably shouldn't have expected as much, but I would have thought she could have at least used quality materials inside the doll. Like, the fluff is fine, and even after, 7 years, it's actually still quite good, so I'm just going to put that same fluff back in. But I found this sock in her body with this bag here, and they're just filled with poly pellets. And give me just one moment for while I open this sock and show you what poly pellets are. I'm not going to give you to my partner who's holding his hand out just because it's so hot here. I'm in my underwear. I don't think people really want to see that, so I'm just going to put you down for just a second. Okay, now my partner's just going to pick the camera up and I'm going to show you what poly pellets are. So they're just these little beads here. They're white and clear. Sorry, I'm probably angling this terribly. There we go. So there's a mixture of white and clear ones. And they are just an alternative to glass beads, but they are lighter than glass beads. So I have about double this amount in glass beads that I took out of Faith when I got her, because she came to me weighing almost 10 pounds, and I was finding that I felt the body might become compromised with the weight, especially the limbs, and I was just a bit anxious about that. And this is probably a quarter of the weight of that, so the weight is probably half and half. And the other thing I found inside her body was this. She's used some kind of, I don't know, like Christmas tape, maybe? I'm not sure, to hold stuff in. And then felt, I don't mind, except for the fact that it's permanent, unless you want to rip it off and cause a big mess. So, if I wanted to reweight this arm or anything, it would just be a pain in the bottom. Sorry about that, everyone. My camera was running out of space because I hadn't taken my last few videos off. So, I was going to show you a little bit more of what I was going to replace inside of her, but it just ended up being, I just got a nice brand new stocking. I took out some of the weighting because the new body I put on her, which is why I was taking her apart, is a preemie sized body, and it actually suits her a lot better. I was having big issues with the newborn sized body she had on with her neck. It was just because she has quite a long vinyl neck anyway, and there was all this extra neck space up the top. So now her legs are actually quite in proportion to the body she has on. She still has a massive newborn diaper, so that's why she still looks chubby in the bottom. And her arms were always too big. Now that I look at her head and legs with a preemie body, it was her arms that made her look out of proportion. They're just massive in comparison to these tiny little legs. I'll take one of her socks off so you can see her little tootsie foots. I want to take her out in the daylight, like in natural light, because I think the artist did do a few little details. Like, there's a few little veins I found in her leg. And she doesn't actually, she's not too bad. The quality of her mohair is quite bad, but I think that's probably partially due to the type it is. It's curly mohair, and I never really styled it or conditioned it or kept it curled, so that it's dried out quite a fair bit. But it's also just very frizzy. So what I tend to do is just style it. Last time I put conditioner in it, I put way too much. And it was just overwhelming, and it's made her hair a bit gross. So I just dipped the brush in some water and I've brushed it through, and hopefully a few brushes will actually get a lot of it out. And I've weighted her head a bit heavier. Her body's a bit lighter only because I couldn't physically put as much weight as was in her into the tinier body. I haven't re-weighted the limbs. The limbs are actually nicely weighted anyway, so I didn't really want to do that, but if I did want to, like I said, it would just be a pain. So I've just got her in her little socks. I have mittens, but I can't find them for the life of me. The painting on her isn't as bad as I thought it was. You know, it's quite nice. It's probably probably like a mid-level artist. Like, she's got nice skin tone. She's got blushing in the right areas. She's just not very mottled, and the shading isn't well done in places that need it. Like, for example, these fingers. The sculpt isn't that good quality. So, not saying the vinyl isn't, just the sculpt. Like, the artist has left welding between each of the fingers, which is, of course, means it needs to be shaded. The artist just didn't shade them. The shadow you're seeing there is because of my light. And then this welded elbow over here. It's not, sorry, my arm was in the way. It's not been shaded very well at all. There's like a tiny teensy bit of pink, and I'll do another video because you'll be able to see her better. So this is kind of a rebirth of Isolde and an outfit of the day in one video. Because once I dressed her, and I put a preemie onesie I accidentally bought. I put a preemie onesie on her, and it fit perfectly, and I was like, oh my goodness, you were always meant to be a preemie baby. And it fit her so well, and I just brushed her hair, and it's so flat to her head, but it looks very sweet. She does have an open nose, and I think open noses are good, but I think you have to pair them with good shading. Otherwise, it just looks like a plastic doll with 2 holes in its nose, and it looks bad. It looks really bad. But, she's not badly done. I was actually considering selling her. I've actually considered selling her a few times, but my partner each time has sort of said, no, keep all your dolls, because you've got them at various points in your life for certain reasons, and they'll all be a special part of your collection. And I think he's right, and I don't actually dislike her. I think she does, to an extent, look realistic. I think it's just more, at the moment, I love Faith, and I think I could spread that love a little further with a more realistic-looking newborn baby doll. I was originally going to save up and get a preemie, because the Caleb kit by Heather Boneham, that Bountiful Baby sells, it's been one of my favorite kits since I started getting back into Reborns late last year. And I think that would be my dream baby if it was newborn sized. At the moment, it's my absolute dream baby, preemie baby, but I don't think I would feel safe taking a preemie baby out that's that small, because it is a 13-inch baby, and I'd be worried I'd get really weird looks, like, why is that baby not in the incubator type looks. So I think what I might end up doing is just saving up and getting the Gemma kit by Donna Rubert. I was about to say Robert Redubit, but no, that's not right. By Donna Rubert. Because that doll has abnormally long thighs, and I've actually seen a few people use full-legged bodies on her, non-jointed full-leg bodies where the legs are kind of to the side a bit, rather than directly at the front, so sitting sort of here and coming out a bit. And I've seen ones where they're sort of at the front, but that worries me that it might not fit a nappy properly. Like, there might not be room between the legs. But either way, that is what I'm going to be doing because I am going to do it. It's just going to take a few months. When I order my custom Gemma through a beautiful artist, just stunning work in Australia. She lives in the state above me. I decided to go local artist this time, just because shipping for me from Canada ended up being about a quarter of the cost of the price I paid for the doll. And as much is there, as many artists as there are that I would love to get a custom order from overseas. Getting the doll to Australia is too expensive. Whereas if the artist here needs to pay, $15 getting a cloth body shipped over, because a lot of light things from America are sent pretty damn cheaply just because they're so small. They can be put in such small little things that you don't pay too much for it. Then I don't mind that. I will pay the extra shipping to get the body I want from the States or Canada or Ukraine, wherever it ends up coming from. Dolls by Sandy is the one that does the custom body that I would like. And the body itself is, I think, $17 US something. So it's maybe $18, $19 US in Australia, something like that. So that'll be nice. Eventually, when I get her done, I'll actually link the artist I'm going to use when I order the doll, because I don't want to do it now and then decide I don't want to use the artist I've decided on now, because I think that would be, I don't know, I'm just unfair, a bit odd and a bit backtracky. So I don't want to do that right now. But as soon as I've decided 100% on a doll artist, I will share with you who I am going through. I follow her on Facebook at the moment, because that's all my Facebook is for. I really only use Facebook as a sort of business advertising platform, so I follow businesses and things like that, and I only have my family on Facebook. There was one of you guys who follow me. I can't find your comment now. I'm really sorry. But I do remember seeing it in my email box. But it was sort of during the last week when I've been really busy going back and forth from hospital and back and forth from the in-laws' home. So I'm sorry. I don't actually accept any Facebook requests, not even from old friends, simply because I'm at a time in my life where I've kind of figured, there are certain people I want in my life, and if you're not in it, you're most likely not going to be on my Facebook page, So, unfortunately, that includes fellow Reborn mummies, only because I want to keep that kind of a separate thing from my actual family life, which is what Facebook is for. So I will happily talk to people on here, and Google Plus has a messenger called Hangouts. Don't mind talking to people on there at all. That's fine. So if you use your YouTube channel on Google Plus at all, and you'd like to add me, go right ahead and I will accept. Just say, hey, this is so-and-so from whatever channel. I watch you on YouTube, and I'll be like, hey. I'd be more than happy to chat with people on Hangouts. I do not mind at all. We went out to Babies R Us today, just to have a really bad transition there. Went to Babies R Us today just because I needed to go out and have a walk around. I was exhausted because someone kept me awake. And sorry, our cat's just moved back in with us, and he keeps walking around in weird places, and I'm not too sure where he's gone right now, but he's meowing somewhere. But he's the one that kept me up. There he is, walking over. He's so cute. So we went and walked out because I just needed some fresh air. But then we got back to Robert's mum's house, and I just zonked out. I went up to their upstairs bedroom, and I just fell asleep for 2 hours solid. But we were looking at travel, what are they called? The things where you have the pram, and then you have the capsule that is also a car seat, but you can sit on top of the pram. And one of those travel sets. So I think that's the best wording I can come up for it. Travel sets. So I was doing that, just checking them out, because there is one for $1.99, It's not a set, it's just the capsule. And I really only want it for the car because I already have a pram and I have a cover for my pram. Um, so if I do want to cover my baby up, I can just put the mesh cover on and no one can actually see the baby very clearly. That or muslin blankets are pretty big and you can put one of them over. So that way, I'm kind of fine and I really like the stroller I have. I do sometimes wish I could get one that faces me, but they're all really expensive. So I was actually just out of curiosity looking at the travel thingamajiggies because obviously the capsule goes on and faces you. Um, but then I was looking at them. They kind of look a bit odd. Like I would not be able to get over the aesthetic of it. The whole normal pram with some random big bulky capsule sitting on top. I mean, I'd probably get over myself and be all right with it eventually. Uh, but yeah, I didn't actually, and I don't know why, but I didn't actually think that was how they worked. I figured, I don't know what I thought maybe it was just a frame, like the frame of a pram, and you sort of wedged the capsule in like you did with those old-fashioned laundry basket holders that you could put your laundry basket on and drag out to the clothesline. God, I sound old. I swear I'm not in my 60s. My nan used to have one of those, and I don't think I've ever met anyone my age or my mum's age that have had one. I think they're really cool. In fact, something like that, if you just welded some handles on, you could probably just put a basket on it with some blankets in and use that as a pram. You might get some weird looks, but hey, it's an ingenious idea if you don't have money. Get someone who knows how to weld a bit of metal on for a handle, and use a basket with blankets as a pram. It costs you all of $50 to do. So there's an idea. Free tip of the day from Andrea. um, but yes, so on the thought of selling her, I don't know that I am. I don't think I will. But what would you pay for? What would you pay for a secondhand Reborn? I mean, I honestly don't know. Like, I would say between 50 and 100 for like a no-name one, because I could not tell you the sculpt of this. I can't tell you the one of my Sheila Michaels one because I can't remember it. But I think for a intact limited edition, if the artwork was good, I'd pay maybe 250 to 700, depending on the rarity of the sculpt and the artist. I think my one, I'd probably happily sell it because it is damaged. It does have the damage to the head, and if someone were to get it reborned, the artist would have to be confident in putting it back in the oven and risking the vinyl cracking even more. Rooting it would be fine because rooting, just put a sack of rice in the head to sort of hold the shape, and also to keep the vinyl warm. That would be fine. It's more the vinyl cracking due to the heat of the oven when you're painting. Unless you use air dry paints. I mean, that's another option. Using air dry paints would save a lot of hassle with a broken head. Price. I'd probably happily sell her. I mean, I paid $800 when I first got her. So if I were to sell her now and she wasn't damaged and she was in the original condition I got her, which she's not, I got her as a brunette, she's now a blonde. Same as this little lady's hair, golden sort of straw blonde. I would have wanted to sell for between $400 and $500. But now, because I know she can get fixed, I know that she can. It's just a matter of how and what products to use. See, I would use Darby sort of air dry clay. I would use that and just use air dry paints to paint the doll again. But I don't know any artists that do. Because my plan is to get her head fixed, get her rerouted, around the area and then sculpt in like a bump over the broken part of the vinyl head, and have that as a like a strawberry, maybe get it painted a blotchy color, like a blotchy red, and have that, because you know lots of babies are born with weird bumps and scratches and marks, and I think that would be a nice way to fix her. But if I was going to sell her as is, which I'm not, I'm never getting rid of her because she is a limited edition, you know, and she's very special. She's my first reborn. I'd probably only sell her for maybe 150. I'd probably start at 150, and I'd probably do a buy it now and a bid at the same time, and sort of just see what other people think she's worth, and if people want to IM me with, you know, ideas on what they'd like to pay, you know, I take that into consideration as well, because at the end of the day, things are only as valuable as the people buying them think they are. Because let's face it, if people don't think it's valuable, they're not going to put their money into it, they're not going to buy it. It's just, you know, it's how it works. You know, like when you're selling a house, you can say you want 1.2 million for it as much as you want, but if people are only willing to pay 900, you're only going to get 900,000, unless you stick your heels in and wait for some poor sap to come and give you the 1.2 mil. But yeah, so that's just me having a bit of a ramble. I know it went on a bit, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'm so glad I finally got to do another video with one of my other babies, because she is so cute, and I haven't been able to get her into any clothing before because there was just, it would all hang out like this, you know, it would be hanging out. But now her body's nice and chubby and soft, and she's so cuddly. She's just perfect. These are all newborn size, and that's why they're a bit baggy on her. But the onesie underneath is nice and tight, and it covers her neck seam perfectly, and she's just adorable. I might take her outside maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow's Australia Day, and we're going out, so I might, because she's quite small and she'll be easy to take out, I'll probably take her out tomorrow. So I'll do that, and I'll make sure I make a video of her in daylight for you guys. Okay, I hope you have a good day, night, afternoon, whatever it is. Bye!